Hello, everyone. My name is Samkeliso Dlamini. I'm currently a student at the African Leadership Academy. As you all know that the Form 3s and Form 5s are about to write their final examination. Today I have a guest who is going to introduce himself before I proceed. Do you mind introducing yourself?
No, okay. Thanks for the opportunity, Samkelo. I'm Celumusa Ndlangamandla. I did my high school at Stegnazarin High, and then I proceeded to St. Mark's for AS levels. So after that, that was in 2013, I was doing AS, and then after that, I went to the University of Swaziland, and I did a Bachelor of Nursing Science in Mental Health and Psychiatry. I am currently working in the Ministry of Health together with ICAP as a nurse surveillance officer for COVID-19.
Thank you very much for that wonderful um, introduction, Kalmusa, and I'm really thrilled to be in the same room with someone who has achieved so much in life. So, as you know, that the Form 3s and Form 5s are approaching the exam, as I mentioned earlier. So, I just want you to put yourself in the shoes of a Form 3 or Form 5 student right now around this time. How did you manage like emotional stress, or how did you manage your emotional well-being around this time? As you know, there is a COVID-19 pandemic, and also exam anxiety. It's always there. So
Yeah.
when I went down journey, let's calculate. When I went Form 5 or any other examination.
Yeah. Well, I will say we're more or less now that they're in this COVID-19 pandemic situation. I was also, when I was doing Form 5, in the wire strike that was being done by teachers. So the second and third term we almost didn't learn. But I'm happy to share with you that despite all those challenges, despite the challenges that they are facing because of the COVID-19, it, it is usually helpful to study in groups because some of your colleagues, you may find that they're well gifted in maths or they're good in English. So if you study together, you will be able to learn from each other. And at the same time, if we have got passes and papers, I saw some link that was being shared by the Knowledge Institute on Facebook to say Swatini M10 does have a website where you can download passes and papers and any of the study that you are doing. So that will give you more or less a clear picture what you have to look at or what you might be coming from exam. Let me start for an instance, because usually we have anxiety because we have self-doubt. But
Yeah.
if you have the opportunity to come across those passes and papers, you will know that. Let me cite an instance with maths. Usually, let me say paper two. Paper two at most, you find that the first 5 questions, they will be dealing about profit and loss and some few scenarios where you have to formulate an equation. So once you get the grip, or once you grasp what is usually set in the paper, then the anxiety tends to reduce because you get to know what you anticipate. Unlike when you don't know anything, because sometimes people they say anxiety is fear of the unknown. Because at most you don't even know what will come. But then if you expose yourself to the passes and papers and also have your colleagues discuss those passes and papers. And then another best thing that we've got to do, because during the exam you find that you are also anxious about time, it is very advisable that during this time you time yourself together with your friend as if there was a teacher in front of you. In that way, you'll be able to know that a 2-hour paper, will I be able to finish within the stipulated time? That I will also have at least 15 to 10 minutes for the revision. Because oftentimes you find that minor things, because of the anxiety, you miss it. But if you prepare and have your colleagues correct each other, the chances of reducing anxiety and the self-doubt are highly likely to reduce. And again, if it so happens that we've got some people who have walked the journey, like we have done Form 3 or we have done Form 5, ask from those that they are going to help you. And also be more or less the friends of those teachers, especially, let me say, subject teachers or teachers whom you think they can assist you. Because most of the time, anxiety rises because of the unknown, because you anticipate that that paper may be difficult or might not know this, but with preparation and exposure to the past exam papers, you will find that you will have an idea what you have to expect.
Thank you very much for that detailed response, Mr. Celumusa. The Form 3s and Form 5 are really lucky to have you. I can even tell that you're just answering from a professional view in terms of the emotional well-being. So moving on to the next question, what do you think? So here a student asks, for example, here I'm trying to study and I find myself asleep. How do I overcome slumbering or suddenly sleeping while still studying? How can I overcome that? Yeah.
Okay, I will say it will depend when. Let me say you find that some people immediately after eating they fall asleep, especially when they've eaten sour milk because of the lactic acid that relaxes the muscles, or else just food, because immediately after we eat, the body has got its control, or it is being programmed, so it will try by all means to push blood towards your digestive system, hence you will find yourself sleeping. With that said, I will advise that if you want to study, you don't eat a heavy meal, especially if you usually fall asleep, because once you do that, you will feel satiated, and in no time you will feel like sleeping. And again, it is so helpful that when you feel asleep, you also take some breaks, like maybe take a walk, or else if you like reading, just read something fascinating, and then you will find your mind being clued again to want to read more, and then you go and study. Or when it comes to the West, you might as well use cold water to just wash your face.
Yeah.
And another thing that oftentimes happens, when you're close to your bed, I don't know what the brain does. You
Yeah.
just feel sleepy. You might as well go maybe to the kitchen. If you have a study room, you might as well go to the study room. At least that will be better. And oftentimes, if you really feel sleepy, another thing, it could mean that you are too warm, because if you are not that warm, as if you're in the bed, you may not fall asleep.
Yeah.
And another thing which is very helpful, oftentimes, like this scenario we're saying, we're facing these challenges. As much as we don't handle the situation the same way because of the perspective or the understanding that you attach to each and every situation, I'm glad to say you may be falling asleep, but guess what? Because of the determination that you have, that despite all the odds brought by COVID-19, you want to make it, and you won't regret, because if we're in these uncertain times, anything is possible because nothing is certain. So you must, if you put your level best, or put your level best, you might find that you get the unthought of results.
Thank you very much for that response. Just to ask a follow-up question. So here you're explaining how you can be able to avoid this attempt of sleeping. Oh, yeah. So what do you think? Let's just move on to the Form 3s. How do you think a student can or perfectly choose their subjects when they're going to high school?
All right. I may not say perfectly, my brother, because you find that certain subjects link, like they can link you to a couple of careers. Let me say we are in Form 3. You love to do pharmacy, which is being a pharmacist, or you love to do nursing, you love to do medicine, you want to be a radiographer to study radiology, or you
Yeah.
want to be an anesthetist. Most of those, all the courses that I've mentioned, they require you to have a strong base of maths, which means it is advisable to choose extended, not core, because another thing that is common nowadays, the competition is so high in country and also international. And also you have to choose, if it's available, you have to choose biology, and then physical science. If you
Oh,
want to measure in those English, obvious, because all of the colleges that we have in the country and also international colleges, the main mode of teaching is English. And
yeah.
then if let me say you want anything, another thing that will be so helpful, we have to think of yourself having a certain career. Ask yourself, what do I want to do after school, or what do I want to do after finishing Form 5? And then
Mm.
from there, you will ask yourself, if I'm saying I want to be an accountant, or I want to do chartered accounting, or I want to do BCom or accounting, does it involve numbers? Does it involve literature? Does it involve... So with those minor questions, you realize that no, I must be good in math. I have to do also business studies. I have to also do accounts. So it will enhance your chances of being admitted for that course.
Thank you very much, and also I just want to thank you for your engagement in this conversation. And unfortunately, because of time, we have to end here. And what are your final words for the Form 3s and Form 5s? Just maybe in less than a minute. Just final words for the Form 3s and Form 5s.
I will say I wish them the best, and I'm very pleased and privileged, or we're very pleased and privileged to have the Knowledge Institute that is always willing to help despite the circumstances. So to them, I will say, let them use this challenge more like we do with our body. Because for the body, if you want to be physically fit, you engage in hard exercise. So may they, by all means, find strength to enjoy the circumstances and pass. I wish all them the best.
Thank you very much, Mr. Celumusa. Thank you very much.
All
Have a
right,
great
you're
evening.
welcome.